Yesterday was my Dangerfield shoot, and today I'm sitting here. I feel weird. I feel really weird today. I feel like when I don't have a certain thing to do, I get a bit like antsy, kind of. It's 11:55. I spent like 3 hours of the morning playing Smurfs Village, which is a game I used to play in high school, on my phone. And I started again, and it's really good. It's not, I just really like it. Oh my god, sorry. This mosquito bite is crazy. Yesterday I had to get dressed in like a tent in the woods. It wasn't really the woods, but it was like a bush. And there were a lot of mosquitoes, and I didn't think I was gonna get bitten because I like doused myself in bug spray. But ever since I learned that mosquitoes are more attracted to estrogen, I've been telling people that, and I kept saying, you know, guys, I'm on my period right now, so I just feel like I'm gonna get completely eaten alive. And I wasn't. I've only got 3 mosquito bites, which is impressive considering in the tent thing that I was changing in, it was just, there was no escaping. I really don't like mosquitoes. And I've been trying recently to get better at like not murdering bugs because I don't want to murder them, but I really don't like moths and mosquitoes and cockroaches, so those are the things that I will for sure try and murder if someone else isn't there to try and save it, because I just don't like them. And they scare me a lot, you know? And that's kind of where it all comes down to, is if you're scared of something, you'll probably try and kill it, because fear is bigger than all of us, isn't it? It can be, but it's not. I know I can overcome my fear of bugs. I am so terrified of those 3 bugs specifically that I just don't know if I have the strength to overcome it right now. Weird. I used to be really afraid of butterflies too, but they're pretty. Moths are not. You know why? Because moths chew up my clothes. So I have a problem with moths. A lot of the time I just don't feel like I have anything interesting to say, which is why I don't vlog very much. Or I just feel like, because I just say whatever comes out of my mouth, I kind of sound like an idiot sometimes. And I used to have this really big fear of being perceived as an idiot, but I don't think I have that as much anymore, because I kind of like that I just talk, you know? I'm not even talking at the camera, I'm just looking at my toes and playing with them while I speak. I used to really not like my toes. I think this is a good format for video because it kind of just, it's more honest. Like, I tried really hard to make my videos make sense and add a lot of context, but truthfully, if you're in conversation with me, there isn't really much context. There's not much context for what I'm saying. I'm just kind of saying whatever is in my brain. I've been trying really hard to like be more compassionate with myself, and I say that a lot, but every time I say it, I mean it in a different way. I've developed another understanding of what it means to be compassionate to myself. I'm at the place where I'm really doing well with it, but there's still so many like thoughts that I hold on to that were rooted in someone else and began in someone else that don't belong to me, that just kind of swim around my mind. And because they've been in my mind for so long, I've mistaken them as my own. So sometimes when I'm low, I end up listening to them, and then I realize, oh, I actually don't align with this thought at all. Like, this doesn't really sound like me. And then I'm like, oh, that's not me. Cool. And it's fine after that. But recently I haven't been staying in that period for very long. Like, I haven't been in my head so much that I'm trying to find a way to make this make sense. It's kind of like if I was like walking around a big house with like a bunch of doors that lead to a bunch of rooms, and then I just like open a door to a room, and then I'm like, oh my god, this room is so scary. I can't believe I have to be stuck in this room for the rest of my life. And then I turn around and I'm like, oh, there's a door, I can leave. So silly. I don't live in this room. This is not my room. And then I just leave. That's what it's like. Sometimes I'm like, oh, this isn't my life. This isn't the truth. If I'm looking at my life through like a very depressing or pessimistic view, it's a very self-critical lens that I'm looking at my life through. I'll put like the camera down, let's say, or the telescope down, and I'll just be like, okay, cool. That's like not my life. This is how I look at my life. And then it'll like pan to somewhere else and it'll be me with like a mustache on being like, or is it? I panic for a second. I'm like, wait. And then I'm like, it's fine. I'm okay. So yeah, sometimes I do second guess myself. And I try not to, but I guess that's just part of being human, is that you don't love yourself until you do. And not every day is perfect. And you can try your best to be perfect, but you're only a little human. What are you gonna do? I have this voice in my head that sometimes likes to heavily overanalyze myself and my personality and things that I do, and try to diagnose me with things or tell me, oh, this is something that someone with this disorder or this illness or this condition would do. I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting. And I try not to be like, well, that's me now. I must have this thing because a voice in my head told me that I do. But no. I don't know why I stopped the sentence there. I might just try and make my videos a little bit more chatty, because I kind of do like just, you know, chilling and just having a conversation about stuff. And in a weird way, I just feel like if someone watches my video and they like would like to get to know me and that's why they're watching this, it sets them up for a more accurate representation of what it's like to have a conversation with me. Because a lot of the time I feel like people think I'm going to be super high energy, crazy, over the top, and that's not necessarily true all the time. Like, I do have bursts of energy, but this is kind of what I'm like most of the time. And I feel like this is just me, you know? Why does this matter? I don't think it matters that much. I think it's important to set somewhat realistic expectations of the person I am online to who I am in real life, because honestly, I really just don't like having to pretend. I don't like pretending. It's really not fun for me. I think when I was younger, I learned that like if I can get a laugh out of someone, then I can get people to like me. And so I spent a really long time, like me as in like I could feel like they liked me. That doesn't necessarily mean that they did. And so I spent a really long time thinking that I had to be super, super funny and super entertaining. And so I would start to like measure the intensity of people's laughter or reaction to things that I've said. And then kind of, this sounds neurodivergent, but I would measure the intensity of like how much they like reacted to what I'm saying. I'd be like, okay, well, this is a good joke. This does well with this crowd, or people who laugh at this will probably laugh at that. And so a lot of the time when I'm trying to talk and I'm just trying to explain myself, I'm aware of the fact that the way I'm saying it or the simplicity in which I'm saying it can make for it to be very comical, even when I don't want it to be comical. It's hard for me to get a sentence out sometimes because I'm thinking about the fact that someone may or may not laugh at this. And that kind of brought into this period of my life where I really wanted to be taken seriously, and I didn't want to be the funny gal anymore. I didn't want to be the little jester in the royal court making everybody laugh. I didn't want to do that anymore, and so I wanted to be taken seriously. So I would speak more about things that I felt passionate passionate about or topics that I was really interested in, and it like kind of worked but also kind of didn't. Then it kind of like brought my self-esteem into question, where I was like, what if people think that I'm smart and then they expect me to be super smart and I'm not that, and I don't have all this knowledge? And then I was like, okay, well, I need to force myself to be knowledgeable. And then I was like, I don't want to do this. I just like, I'm pretty happy and content with the level of knowledge of which that I have now. I'm okay with that. And I also like don't want to start being insecure about my intelligence, because I don't care if people think I'm smart or not, because that doesn't make me smart or not. That's just an opinion that someone has on the outside. It doesn't affect what's going on in here. And I don't really care about being smart. I think I just care about being like a graceful and kind human being more than anything else. Like I don't strive for like a really high IQ or knowing lots of things about lots of stuff. That doesn't really matter to me. Like, it's cool. Of course, I'd like to have knowledge on some things, like my special interests I would like to have knowledge on. But I don't want to necessarily be the best, because that doesn't really mean anything to me, because it's not something that I want for myself. That would be something that I would do out of a need for validation from someone else. I think what I'm learning now is that like definitely there's a part of me that likes to be an entertainer. It's not because I completely like the validation from other people, but I really do enjoy making people laugh and making them smile, because I think it's really nice to like be able to do that for someone. Because when people are able to do that for me, I'm like, oh my god, this is like amazing. I've never felt better in my entire life. In that moment, there is a part of me that likes to entertain. So there will be parts of me in some videos, or definitely my past videos, where I feel like I'm putting it on a bit, or at least I'm amping it up. But it's not from a place of inauthenticity, I don't think. I feel like it's quite genuine. But now I'm realizing that like I don't have to carry that through the whole of my life. Like I don't have to keep amping everything up for the sake of other people. And some days I'm not gonna be very funny, and some days I'm just gonna be hungry and grumpy and sad, or just super neutral. I could be anything. I think that's the thing, is that I forget that when I focus on things like this and parts of my personality, I don't allow myself to be fully versatile, and I don't allow myself to bend and stretch and shrink and do all these things all at once, and I just put myself in a box. And I like don't want to do that for myself anymore. It feels terrible to have all these like confinements around myself and just tell myself that I have to be a certain way for the sake of people that aren't me. That doesn't make sense to me. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm working on now. Being more myself, listening to my intuition, really trying to understand the things that I like and push forward with them, because I think I'm having a bit of trouble understanding what I really do like and what is like part of like my social conditioning that I picked up on, that I felt like I had to like. And that comes with like a lot of things, like understanding the social conditioning thing. I think understanding my queerness was something that I did not even really think about until last year, or 2020 or 2019 maybe. That's when I started thinking about it. I was like, this is definitely a possibility, but I didn't really delve into that until this year, and I'm so glad that I did, because I feel like growing up in a small town made me feel like I couldn't make a mistake when I was trying to identify the parts of who I was. Like I couldn't mistakenly do that, otherwise I would be forever labeled as something that I'm not. Even when I've moved past that, I feel like there wasn't much room, or I at least didn't give myself enough room to make mistakes. There's something in my eye, and it really hurts. And so that's kind of why I did delve into it while I was there. It wasn't something that I was really brought to my frontal lobe, I guess, or my conscious mind, because I think part of me knew that I wasn't ready to like fully get into that yet. So it was like, you know what, let's just wait till you feel like you're in a new place and you have the room and space and love around you to feel like you can be yourself. And that's kind of what happened. Is I moved to Melbourne, and I was like, oh, I like everyone. And that was exciting. and scary and weird and cool, and I'm pretty happy about it because it gave me a sense of, oh, there's still so much to discover about myself, and the beliefs that I have created about myself aren't necessarily all true and are interchangeable. So that was very exciting to me, that I could really be anyone and anything that I wanted to be, because not everything that I felt that I knew about myself was true, and there was still so much to uncover, and that was very, very cool and made me very happy. So in terms of like social conditioning, there's a lot of things that I had to unpack there, because I grew up in an environment where I was kind of like a compet, and I didn't realize it until way later. And I think that was used as like a little shell. I mean, it did so much damage to my self-esteem, and I thought that it was protecting me. So I don't know. It's interesting to look back on that point in my life and identify all of the beliefs that I've picked up on because of that situation, or because of me being in that position. And now I'm really questioning the things that I do, like my behavior, comments that I'll make, or the way that I view myself, or the way that I might police myself. I really question those things now, which is really cool. And I feel like all of this is kind of just me peeling back all the I was gonna say layers like an onion, but like that just like brought me back to Shrek. Like, I guess in a way I'm an ogre because I'm peeling all these things, and then at the very core of this ogre onion is who I am, the me that I'm meant to be. It's the me that I've chosen to be, instead of the person that I feel that I'm supposed to be. I feel like that's a really good place to stop it. Okay, cool. Thank you. If you watched this, thank you. If you didn't, thank you. You don't have to do something for me to be thanked. I think I'm done now.